Hello everybody, I hope you can all see me and hear me. If there's any problems, just type into the chat and then hopefully we'll be all away. Hello Stowaway, it's nice to see you. Just give me the thumbs up if you can see me okay, because I've never done this before. So hello everybody, hello Amy, nice to see you. I'm glad you could make it. I forgot to send you the reminder. So I'm actually very unprepared for today. I have been racking my brains all day to think about what I could talk about. Really, I was hoping that we'd have sort of a bit more interaction. So if anybody does want to come and join me up here on the panel, it would be absolutely lovely to have you and we can have a bit more of a conversation. So I thought I'd start by telling you a little bit about myself. Obviously, for those of you that don't know, I'm Caroline and I created this channel Through the Fog really to sort of connect with other people and to have other people connect together. Because especially sort of over the COVID period, lots of people have been stuck in, we've all been in isolation, and it gets a bit lonely, really, not being able to get out and see people, and particularly people with disabilities like myself, chronic pain. We're very often isolated from everybody and we tend to lose our friends and our social life, really. So it's kind of nice to be able to come online and hopefully chat with people. I don't want to bore the people who don't have chronic illness, but at the end of the day, I'm going to talk about what I know best. So I thought for the purpose of this first live stream, and unless anybody wants to add something, then please do. I'll tell you a little bit about my fibromyalgia journey. And if anyone's got any questions, just pop them up and we can discuss those as well. It's hard to say when my fibromyalgia started, in all honesty, because I have suffered with chronic pain for as long as I can remember. And certainly I was in primary school. I was in the netball team in the last 2 years of primary school. And my knee used to swell up so big and it would be red raw and I would be absolutely screaming in pain. And eventually I did have to give up my netball, which I really loved. But it wasn't, I also remember lying on the floor with my back in absolute agony. And I think it's a very common story. Parents take us to the doctors and the doctor says, growing pains. Well, I never grew out of those pains. And obviously I still get them now. So it's very difficult for me to sort of, when I'm in pain, to know whether it's the fibromyalgia or whether it's just something that I've had. I've always been hypermobile, and I hear a lot of people with hypermobility also do get a lot of joint pains. It wasn't until I was about 20 when I caught meningitis, meningococcal meningitis and septicemia. And I was rushed into hospital, didn't really know much of what was going on. I was in and out of consciousness. And I was only there 8 days. The doctor that was there was a junior doctor and he knew what it was straight away. And he just basically pumped me full of antibiotics or whatever it is that they do before running any tests. And it was, in fact, that probably saved my life. But I was never, ever the same after that. I may have looked the same and people may not have realized that there were differences, but I definitely felt them. I got a lot of sensory difficulties where everything was very bright. My vision, the only way I can describe it is just by saying it's odd. Hello, Eliane, it's lovely to see you. That's the only way I can describe my vision. It's all eye tests come back clear, except obviously reading glasses, but you know what, I'm old now, so what can you say? Everything seemed bright. It just wasn't clear. Although I could see clearly what was in front of me, my brain wasn't processing it, and it almost felt like the whole world was just shaking very, very slightly. Almost like when you get a hot day and you look at the road and you can just see the shimmer. That's what my vision is virtually all the time. Sorry, I was checking my phone then just in case somebody was having a problem. So yeah, my vision was off, and my hearing, it became so acute that everything was twice as loud as it should be. So just to hear a police car or an ambulance go past, it was literally painful for me to hear. And even to this day, I have to have the sound down really low. I also found it very difficult to concentrate in conversations, which made social activities actually really, really quite difficult. And it was sort of in my early 20s that I started to withdraw a bit from going out, from doing things. What else happened? Not much. I went to, it wasn't my first job, but it was what I call my first real job, was up in London as a secretary. And my friend very kindly got me the job while she was on maternity leave. But I just couldn't do it. I couldn't sit there and focus, and I wasn't organized enough. And it was really frustrating because I knew exactly what I wanted to do, but it was almost as though I just couldn't get my brain to do this. So I really think it was from the meningitis that the main symptoms that I have of fibromyalgia really started. And they just got sort of progressively worse over the years. But in the beginning, I could function. I just kind of withdrew myself from it. I ended up basically running away, really, and ended up in Canada, where I got married and had my 2 absolutely lovely children. Things didn't really work out there, but I came back to England, and that's really when most of my troubles kind of started. And I think it was possibly being a single parent with 2 young children, being away from my family, being sort of a bit more isolated. When my symptoms, the pain and the fatigue really started to hit. So yeah, I kept going back and forwards to the doctors, and the doctor originally sort of, I said, I'm sure this is from meningitis. There must be something wrong with my brain. There must be some kind of, I don't know, just, damage done. And the doctor just dismissed me completely. It's like, looked at the system and said, no, hello, Richard, nice to see you. And just said, no, it's definitely not from the meningitis, and just dismissed everything. Even though I was saying, look, I keep dropping things, my hands don't work properly, I've got all this pain, I can't concentrate, I can't think. And they just dismissed it completely. But I kept going backwards and forwards for different things. I ended up having a knee operation, and they didn't find anything. But to be fair, whatever they did when they washed it out, it seemed to help my knee quite dramatically, and it stopped sort of swelling up then. If there's anything anyone wants to say, just pop a question in and I can answer that. Other than that, I'm just waffling on, I'm afraid, at the moment. So hopefully I won't bore you too much. Eventually, I saw a neurologist who thought for absolute sure it was definitely to do with the meningitis, and it was probably some form of epilepsy. Clearly not the one where you fall on the floor, but the one where you just sort of have little absences. And I thought that sounds absolutely exactly what it feels like. But all the tests came back negative. All the tests came back negative for basically every single test they threw at me. I've had about 5 brain scans, about 2 body scans, and various blood tests and things, and absolutely everything comes back negative. So eventually the rheumatologist diagnosed me with fibromyalgia, and that's where I am today, really. Although I have recently spoken to on the phone my rheumatologist, and she didn't say I have a diagnosis of it, but what she said was, look up FND, and she gave me this website. And I have to say, I did look up the website. In fact, bear with me one second, because I've kind of moved everything. I actually got from them delivered today some leaflets about FND. Now, fibromyalgia isn't classed as one of these. It's a functional neurological disorder. And it basically means that there's an issue with the brain's wiring. And this can cause things that look like epilepsy. They behave exactly the same as epilepsy, but it's not to do with the brain in an epileptic form as such. It is more how the brain deciphers it, how it thinks, what it thinks is going on. But it does look like, with certain exercises and things, that it looks a bit positive. But it can also it can affect your limb weakness, seizures, walking difficulties, pain. The vision that I get describes it perfectly. And one of my biggest issues for my fibromyalgia is my balance. And that is particularly bad all the time. And that's another thing that is classed under the functional neurological disorder. So I'm going to look further into this because it seems to be quite interesting. And then maybe I'll have another chat with my neurologist and we'll see if we can get any progress on that. So that's kind of my story. I don't know if anyone has anything they want to add. Amy, did you want to come in? Sorry, Amy, I didn't realize you were there. Can you see me? Are you still there?
There's my mic button. Get there.
Oh, there you are. Sorry, Amy, I'm so new to this. I didn't see you sat there. Have you been sat there long?
I've been listening. It's fine.
Oh, so how are you? Everybody, this is Amy. She's from my fibromyalgia group. She's absolutely lovely, and I think she suffers even more than I do. And the thing is, I think with you, you're so young as well. So you probably get a lot of what I did at your age, which is, oh, you're too young to have that. Wait till you get to my age and all of that stuff. And it just drives me crazy.
I had that for many years. I had problems early secondary school after. And same as you, it was down to growing pains for many, many years. And through those years, I pushed on. I did horse riding. I did rock climbing. I was really active, I stick thin. It wasn't until I accepted that I just couldn't do it anymore. And the weight went on. Then the tactic changed. It was because I put weight. It's my size. And it wasn't the fact that I've been sent to more recently for various food clinics and stuff because they're concerned about my weight, and so am I. But it's the inability to keep moving, to keep the weight off. We need to sustain calories to survive. But just like this, you could eat as healthily as you want.
Yeah, I mean, apart from I do have a slight chocolate addiction, but when I say that, I mean I like a bar of chocolate. I'm not saying I eat 2 or 3 bars of chocolate or even 1 bar of chocolate a day. It's just if there is one there, I'm very tempted. But other than that, I don't think what I eat is unhealthy at all. I don't think it has anything to do with my food intake. It is purely the inactivity that you just, I used to walk all the time, everywhere.
And I kind of do just kind of go, you know what, I feel so rubbish, I had enough. And I might eat, probably shouldn't. And there might be the odd occasion where it lasts a little bit longer than, you know, a day or one odd occasion. It'll kind of be, but it's like every life.
Yeah.
To be. But those days I kind of do it. You're sort of stuck in bed. You can't do anything else. You're bored. You're fed up. You're angry at yourself. There's a whole cycle of feelings that go through with it. And then there's no support available, really.
No, there isn't, though. I mean, there are groups and things which are great, but there just isn't the support at all. And I don't think people get it. I think it's one of those things, unless you have it, people don't get it, because everybody feels tired, everybody has pain, everybody has it. But what they don't understand is it's constant. It doesn't ever stop, and it's always there. Sometimes it's not quite so bad, and when you're lying in bed and you can't do anything, I was like that a couple of days ago. My brain is still very active, and I still keep thinking of all the things I want to be doing. But the minute you try and move, your body just won't let you.
And like just before here, I found out I've grown up ADHD and notice. So on my bad days, I've got that as well. And it's constant. And then you to be very, well, I hold my hands up. My brain's and it says, you know, you're useless, you're this, you're that, which ends up with another cycle. And to be fair, we feel useless when we can't get out of bed. I'm 27 and I started when I was like 12, and it's only been a couple of years with a diagnosis, and only because I kept going back to my GP, and I had a nice locum, and they just went, you know what, this is ridiculous. Why has no one found an answer yet? You've had so.
You know, I think it was a locum. It was a locum that put me to my neurologist. My neurologist was absolutely brilliant, but she just took everything as far as she could, and there was no more she could do. So she passed me on. But yeah, it wasn't my GP. It was a locum that actually put me in touch with her.
And that's the thing now. Like, it's not lack of us wanting to help ourselves.
No.
You know, it might be that if I'd got the right help earlier, the right support earlier, maybe I wouldn't be the size I am now. Maybe I'd have had the support put in place. But there's so many things that they kind of put it down to first that you end up just sort of being just as fed up with not having the right answer as well.
Yeah. And as well, I mean, they keep saying, you know, you go to the GP and you get your test back and, oh, you know, it's really good news. Everything's great. And I'm like, that's not good news.
Yeah, like, what's wrong with me? No one, if the doctor wants you to have a follow-up, you can go, okay, so I need to book an appointment. They're like, no, everything's fine. No, everything's not fine.
No.
Those tests might show everything's fine, but I'm not.
And I've gone to so many different specialists. I mean, to be fair, my doctors actually hasn't been too bad. And by that, I mean, they haven't done anything, but they're really good at referring. So they don't want to deal with it. They just refer you on, which helps me. But then you'll do your couple of appointments with your rheumatologist and they say, well, this is what you've got. That's nothing more. We'll sign you off, but you can always come back if you need to, which is good because when you then fling out forms for things like PIP, and they, I'm sorry, I know I've mentioned that, I probably shouldn't have done, but you know exactly what I mean with that. They want all this information that you just don't have because nobody writes anything, and when they do, you haven't seen them for 2 years or whatever. It's just.
But there's so many barriers put up for people with health problems that aren't going to get better. I mean, PIP is a prime example in its own way because if you have a condition that no one can treat, no one can improve, then of course it's a waste of their time seeing you every year, every 5 years, because they're going, we can't help you. We want to, but we just haven't got that far in research. And then I looked while I was away, before I moved back, I think it's around June time, there are studies into fibromyalgia that are going on. So they are into it, but it's just not there yet.
No, I think it's getting a bit more well known, but I don't know. You're right, Deacon, as well. Doctors always think you're being too negative, and I've even been told that before. Oh, they make these silly suggestions like you've never tried it, and then when you say, "Well, that doesn't work," it's like, "Oh, well, you need a positive attitude." It's not.
It's just the positive attitude. By the time I've got to the point I've got the positive attitude, I've been to them time of like, well, of course, desperate. I'm coming to you because I need help. And
Yeah.
see a specialist, they might well put a treatment program in place, but then your GP has to change it and refuse to give you the same medication. And then I'm thinking, what's the point of being seen by a specialist? Because you're not getting that when they, right, we'll discharge you back to any complex, but you, because after the treatment stopped.
Yeah. Well, I've had one incident with my GP actually, and we had to change branches because my doctor's closed down. And I'd gone about my fibromyalgia because the rheumatologist had suggested I go on pregabalin because I was no good with the amitriptyline.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to her and was like, she's recommended this. Can I try it? And she just looked at me after me explaining for about 10 minutes about having fibromyalgia. Well, do you get pain then?
No,
I mean, I know
I've come to you with this idea because I've just Googled it and I thought it was a bit of fun.
Yeah. I mean, it was all in the letters. I actually took all the letters and showed her. But I've got to be honest, when she said that, I just looked at her and just kind of shook my head and thought, I'm not even going to bother. And I didn't. I walked away, as I normally do, feeling very disheartened and thought I'm never going back to the doctors again, and probably didn't for about another 6 months. No, Ellie, and doctors never do listen, ever. They know it all.
I have one very good doctor, and I do pick and choose what doctors I see because of the support I get from the various ones, and he sadly retired. But I had a particular GP who was very good for mental health and so on. And one day you do know you can tell me if you think what I'm saying is wrong. I sat there and I'm like, wait, what? Because if you try and do that with most doctors, you get verbal diarrhea on that they know best. And I had a doctor going, I'm open to your. I want to hear what you think.
It's not saying we know more. Probably they know more from the real medical side, but we know more from experience side. And we've probably done an awful lot more research than they have on it. So we kind of know, and we speak to other people. So we want to try what they suggest as well.
Yeah, we want to do what we can to manage our health, try and live as normal lives as possible. I know one of my biggest bugbears is the fact that I can't keep myself well enough long enough to go and work. I'd love to go back and work. I'd love to.
Yeah. Hi, Joe. It's lovely to see you. I hope you're doing okay.
Just disheartening when you're trying to get those struggles. And I mean, I go in and I kind of, since I've done vet nursing and stuff, after my degree and stuff, I was just like, I've got to try and way through this and find something I still enjoy. So I go in now and they go, oh yeah, there's this, and this, and I'm like, yep, I know that. We use that, the vets, we use that, vets, we know that, vets. And they were like, okay. So I then have to think, right, so she kind of knows a bit about medical enough that I can kind of navigate things. But I'm not in terms of humans. There's only our system makes no sense in the fact that we base every medication on weight. We don't do that with humans. The only thing we anesthesia, but
I don't know. I think weight obsessed. Weight and exercise. I mean, we all know that by losing weight, you're going to alleviate some of the symptoms. But as I said in one of my videos, it isn't going to cure it. It might help a little bit, but it's not going to be a cure. So, and I don't always want to find a cure for things. It would be nice to have a cure, but I'd like them to find something that would help my symptoms.
And manage things better.
to manage things better, put things in place to manage things better. I mean, I'm a big one for, obviously, I always bang on about it, my wheelchair and mobility aids, but that's the only thing I can find that actually makes my life easier.
Yeah,
Really.
and that's the thing I find, because I'm so young, it's so hard to get any of that. I mean, I had occupational therapy at 18, and yet in that they said they were going to put in. I've had an appointment with doctors in the last week. I've gone, basically, sure, okay, but thing we can do for you. And I'm like, hold on a minute. Yes, there is. I'm pretty correct. Covers not just physical mobility, mental does affect it. So there's got to be something they can do. It's just a case of they don't do. And it just sort of feels like everyone passed the buck to someone else.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a little bit, I don't know, foil hat here, but I just think because they've discovered that painkillers and things, medication as a whole, don't really work for it. The pharmaceutical companies, they've got no point to put any money into it, so the research just isn't funded as much. That's my, I could be completely off whack there, but that's my
I don't
kind of
think
opinion.
it's entirely that. I think a lot more money goes like cancer research, because everyone sort of has the attitude of, well, cancer can affect everyone, and of course it can, but so can fibromyalgia. It comes from nowhere. They said, oh, we think it's lower. It'd be emotional, mental, physical, even something like breaking a limb. And I'm thinking, right, so it doesn't take much then to trigger it, but then what do you do from there?
I think with fibromyalgia, it's the whole thing, isn't it? It is the mental health and the physical. I mean, even we don't know what starts it off in the first place. Is it a virus? Is it trauma? Is it something? There seems to be so many ideas that come together.
Well, so virus would still come under trauma on your body.
Yeah,
so I think,
certainly my meningitis
they're in the right sort of ballpark. But I mean, even more recently, NICE has found from studies, they've said, right, basically, painkillers don't work. You're not to give people the epilepsy drugs that could potentially ease things. But then on top of it, then gone, that's fine, but then they use CBT with alternative therapies. Get those alternative therapies on the NHS, but the gone, great, no painkillers, job done. Thanks, thank you. I'm not putting like a dig at the NHS because they're so stretched. I mean, most GP practices per GP have 2,000 patients. How can you 2,000 people effectively? So it's a combination, I think. It's just, if things were less stretched across the board, I think do so much more for people, not just, but for other conditions that people like, we don't need to help you with this.
Well, I think there's so many things that they don't. I mean, adult mental health is an absolute joke. They pick and choose, as far as I can see, the people that they want to help. And I mean, people with fibromyalgia, we do suffer with low moods, negative thought patterns, and things that they may actually be able to sort of help with their different talk therapies and things. But unless we're on waiting lists for ages, or, you know, we have our 6 sessions and that's it, it's not really that, you know, that helpful in the long term. I mean, I don't know what the suggestion is, you know, what the answer is, but...
Well, the realistic thing is their attitude is, well, if you went private, but I looked into it, and the more like other you have, you need a more specialist person to help you through things, because they all play into it. The NHS is designed to treat one diagnosis or one part of your symptom or whatever, but not you as a whole. But when you've got all those other bits to factor in, that's how you're going to get the treatment you need. And it's the same so many other conditions, when they kind of go, oh yeah, we need to look at what medication, that we don't have things interacting. But it's the same with therapies. If you've got different conditions, they can affect how the therapy will work. And that, I mean, I'm a pain management psychologist who said, I'm trying my best here, but you've got many other conditions that without knowing enough about them, it's very, very hard to give you very good structured advice to help you. And I'd rather they're being honest and telling me that. But then you are back to private, and it costs more conditions you have. I think I looked into it, and I think I was looking at something like £150 a session. So that's an hour. And they were saying we generally recommend an hour every week. And you can kind of as and where sort of what's better based after the 6 sessions, so we know where you're at. But that's a lot of money to find, even with PIP. You can't afford that when you're not working. Tipping good wage to go and get.
Yes, Joe, sorry. I'm not under anybody, no.
I'm not under King's. I believe I'm still under rheumatology at Lewisham. But I kind of, I've found until more recently there is no support for fibromyalgia in our area at all. And I think that's a big issue. There's not that facility. I mean, Bromley to Lewisham is still quite a track, but I mean, yeah, it'd be brilliant to have the idea of the right team to be under.
Yeah, they did. My rheumatologist did say to me right in the beginning, so probably about 5 years ago, that if things got worse, she could refer me to King's. But things got worse. I went back to her, but she's kind of never mentioned it again. I'm supposed to have something to do with my balance being tested at King's, but I haven't heard anything from them at all. So whether that referral went through or not, I don't know. But they're supposed to have a fibromyalgia unit at King's, as far as I know. But
I don't know about that. I
no,
know.
I only know because my rheumatologist did say that is something that I could do in the future. But as I say, she's never really taken it any further than that. But
I think as well with wait lists at the moment. I mean, I got a letter the other day saying I've got a 33-month wait. And I just kind of sat there, stared at the letter, and I was just like, what am I meant to do with that? 33 months.
I know.
I dread to think what other people are getting in there, because I'm going to now be on that list. Someone's going to get 34 months. I just saw it and I just thought, right, so what am I meant to do? Might as well just keep feeling hopeless, really, because that I at least know how to deal with.
We have a lot of practice in that, don't we? I'm trying to get out of that mindset at the moment. I'm doing my best to try and stay positive, but I'm okay. I'm always okay, actually, when everything's running along smoothly. As I said to you, Amy, the other day, I know I need to get back in touch with PIP, and I've been told that my universal credit, I should be getting the what is it, the bit where you can't go to work, but I'm not, because I'm a carer. So she said, no, you need to, put in for that. You need to put in for your PIP because you need the mobility bit of it. And I'm just like, oh, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to.
It's just more work. I mean, I've found something that came with my tribunal stuff from PIP last year. Then I can get pension from car tax, and I know when I was at the time, oh gosh, God, that's over. And it wasn't now I have to renew my car tax, like, oh sugar, I forgot to save. And it's a lot. And I was like, oh, can I actually make use of this? Oh yeah, I can. Okay, cool. So that's a fantastic thing. It's making these things like more aware for people that they can help with that, because I think a lot to go along with it. The brain fog and forgetting.
Yeah. A lot of places as well just assume that everybody drives, and everybody doesn't drive. I haven't been allowed to drive. I was doing my driving in lessons when I got meningitis. So I'm not going to say I would have passed my test, because I'm not that blasé, but I was at the point where I was about to take my test. So I was quite confident behind the wheel. Then I got meningitis, and it was a good few months before I got back behind the wheel. And I did a few driving lessons, but because of this blip in my concentration, I was making the most dangerous mistakes, literally. And my driving instructor in the end said, look, I actually don't think you should be driving. So I never have. And to this day, I still wouldn't be comfortable in a car because I just lose that concentration. It just goes, and I ended up, I was washing up one day. Okay, this is going to sound very strange. Washing up one day, and I must have had this thought, oh, I need to go into the high street. Now, the next time I didn't just suddenly appear on a bus, but the next time I was sort of conscious, there's me sitting on a bus on the way to the high street thinking, what am I doing here on the bus? So it wasn't a shock. It wasn't like I'd totally lost consciousness and then I was somewhere else. I could sort of almost trace my steps, but it was just like I was washing up. That's what I was doing. I don't even know what I'm going to the high street for, but it's because I just stopped what I was doing, I suppose, and thought, oh, I need to go there. And my brain's just said, oh, you need to go there. Off you go.
And then you go, yeah.
And I go, and I'm like, I don't even, what am I doing here? And you try driving a car like that, that would be absolutely.
I mean, I gave people when I got the AHG, they went, oh, you driving. I just sat there looking at that piece of note on my paper and I went, before I got a diagnosis, I think I'm okay. But the point that actually that could, they did it and it affected driving. And that way I find when I'm driving, I'm sort of blocking everything else out because I'm so worried about causing a problem and getting home alive. And I had a very good instructor who kind of just went, just pretend everyone else on the road is a complete idiot. They're out to get you thing because you're predicting
what everyone else is doing. Yeah.
But you can't focus on much else while you're driving then. So I always had this very, very attitude of, well, I'll never ever attempt to use my phone more. No. Well, I haven't, but I think it would cross my mind.
All these appointments expect you to get from one side of Bromley to the other at silly o'clock, and you just think, how? I've got to now it takes me sort of almost 10 minutes to walk down to my bus stop, my local bus stop, the closest one. Then it takes us on that bus, because it's one of those roundabout buses, about 15 minutes to get anywhere where you can get onto another bus to go anywhere. And they want you to be somewhere in an hour or end up, I don't know, halfway across the borough. I can't. I can't even manage to do that. Does anyone else have any questions?
I've had problems with similar sort of situations, whether it's getting help and we can sort of help you out there. Or if you think of it later, just pop it along. We can always come back.
Yeah. It's gone quiet now. Nobody else got any comments or anything they want to ask about, talk about?
Just enjoying us natter.
They are. I'm quite enjoying natter in here as well. I'm actually just quite pleased that this has actually worked out, because I did a test with a friend of mine a couple of days ago, it might have been yesterday, just to see if it worked, and oh god, it just went horribly wrong. Horribly wrong. And I was thinking, oh god. And then not with having a plan of what I'm going to talk about. It was just, I don't know. I was more concerned about because I've got a really bad camera, so getting the lighting right and what I was going to wear. What I was actually going to talk about. I
realise mine makes me look like I'm bright red, and I'm thinking,
I couldn't find. And behind me, you see, I've tried to sort of sit where you can see my nice flowers, and I haven't got too much background. But trust me, the other side of this camera, there are just piles and piles of washing, and
typical home if you've got kids. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Mine's similar at the moment. I'm doing lots of craft bits for Halloween, and my desk is just covered in tiny beads.
Yeah, I've nearly finished. I don't know if I showed some people on my Instagram, I think it was. I got that diamond art painting I was doing the other day in the meeting. I've got a different one of Johnny Depp because I'm really into Johnny Depp and just want to say I've almost finished it. Oh, apparently I look bright white. Wow. I'll go and get a fake tan or something. I don't know. But no, this light is so bad. And my camera just keeps sort of like, I don't know, trying to make me look even whiter, I think. Oh, well. So, yeah, I'm quite excited after finishing that.
I would be. I feel like 20 projects on the go that are finished.
Sounds like me.
It seems to be my norm with everything. And I kind of, yes, I want to finish this. And something comes up, or I'll get more important that comes up. And you have to process and then I just kind of never get back to it. But you try.
Oh, I've just realised, Richard, you could type. Sorry. There, look, I've even put you up there. This is who I was trying to do a test with yesterday, and it just didn't work out, did it?
Seems sometimes it's the same time that everything's out. You get problems the first time, and the next time it's like the washing machine.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I suppose we should wrap this up now because it's about 40 minutes we've been on. But I really want to try and do this sort of more often, especially if we can get some other people from some of our Bromley World groups to come along. I think it'd be quite nice to have some people come and chat. I don't know. What did you think, Amy?
Yeah, I think it's worthwhile. I think as well, like if someone does later on think of questions and stuff, it's nice for them to feel like they're not alone. That's the biggest problem, I think, for a lot of us is feeling alone. And
yeah, definitely. And so this is really why I wanted to do this. One, I wanted to do it because I get bored and don't have anyone to talk to most of the time. So talking to the camera kind of is quite fun for me. I suppose I've always been one of those people that not wants to be centre of attention, but, you know, just likes to be out there. So, yes, and you don't mind it going on. That's good. But yeah, I think I like this. I do a lot of these groups because I'm very much into sort of the Johnny Depp case and everything. So I've been on loads of like streams watching people, and I just thought, you know what? The community's there. Everybody kind of knows each other, and then sort of as you go into it, oh, how are you? And I just thought, wouldn't that be so nice to actually have a group of us that can do that and just keep in contact through whatever social media. And yeah. Oh, I'm glad we could, Joe. I'm so pleased to see you here. I really am. I did wonder if you'd make it. So yeah. Oh, I'm sorry you've had a tough day. Yeah. See, it's good to talk though, isn't it? Do you think, you know, this is a good thing and we should keep doing it? I was thinking, you know, maybe once a week, but I don't know. I'll run out of things to say. So perhaps if we can have like Amy coming on today has been a real lifesaver. Thank you. We manically texting you the other day. Help me. What have I put?
I actually remembered to set a reminder, but I didn't remember to set it until today.
Well, that was good because I've been thinking, I must get the link and text you it, and then I kept forgetting.
You end up like with all your things, and then something prioritized comes back, and yeah, you end up in one of those annoying cycles where it sort of gets forgotten. But yeah, I think definitely. And I'm sure there'll be, even if it's not people with fibromyalgia necessarily, they might have other conditions, and they can kind of come back to and kind of, oh, actually.
Yeah, see, fibromyalgia, that's what I have, so that's what I know, but I really want to get other people to come on because there's so many people out there, and they don't even have to have a condition, just be wanting to connect with people and talk with people. We can talk about our crafts. I know me and Amy are well into our crafts and things. So I know Elian, I don't know if you're still here, Elian, but I was saying about the diamond art, and I'm trying desperately to finish this so that I can actually put a video up about it. I have recorded a lot because Elian was saying that he would love to hear more about diamond art. So, yeah.
I got one like 3 years ago and I've still not got around to starting.
Have you not? I thought I would hate it because I do like things that sort of get finished quickly. I like to see something happening. I'm no good at if it's going to take me a year to do. I'll be bored. But I thought just sitting there putting these dots on, and I just didn't think I'd enjoy it. But it's so I put on like a podcast or something, and I just sit there doing it, and hours disappear because I just want to get the next section done, and then the next section, and then the next section. So it's actually pretty good for my brain.
Yeah, I know that we were starting at the groups as well recently to try and bring games into things to sort of make sure we end things on a good note. Because sometimes it's a group sort of everyone's feeling rubbish and we're all talking about how rubbish it's been, and you need uplift at the end. So I've been a lot of my evenings testing games with one of the others from the group, and so on. We were saying maybe it's worth trying the evenings when there's nothing really available for doing a games night and things like that and seeing what we can come up with. So I think there's got to be lots of things we can do. Oh, I've just seen a comic pop art and doing a peacock.
Yeah, I was just going to put that up. It does put you in a meditative state. That's right. And it's, yeah. Oh, do you do the diamond art as well then? You're doing a peacock. I'm doing an elephant as well. Yeah, it does. Oh, you see, I think it is that mindfulness, isn't it? Just taking your brain onto a different level.
Off everything else.
Yeah. And I think, games night, or definitely we could do that on here. I don't know how. You'd have to help me out there.
I think the other thing is trying to find some sort of like crafts and stuff we can do, because the group started, they were doing regularly trying to make a craft thing going on and stuff, and it sort of kind of, but everyone's sort of their own thing they were doing and working on, and
yeah,
I kind of feel like I need that. Richard's the games night, so I think we kind of get more things.
Yeah, I think the more we do and the more people that get involved and the more ideas, I think it would be great. Oh, I can't wait to see that, Joe. Definitely show us next group. If we got a group up tomorrow, the health and wellbeing group, is that on tomorrow? Does anyone know? You sleep well as well. Have a lovely night. I do hope you get some sleep and feel a bit better tomorrow.
Feel better, Joe.
And if you want to connect with me on any social media or anything, I've got an Instagram which is Foggy Days, FOGGYDAYZ.CS. If you want to connect with me on that, by all means, just message me or send a comment on here or whatever. And yeah, don't feel alone. I'll try and cheer you up no matter what. Oh, what's that? Deacon's got tons of online card websites that you can use to play card games with people online.
Oh, yeah, fantastic. I was trying to find a version that we'd be able to put through groups, and things like Rummy Cub's another one. And Rummy Cub used
Rummy Cub.
And they found that regular playing of that and Scrabble and anagrams all can lessen your chance of developing dementia and Alzheimer's later on. And I was thinking, great, that we can put into the groups, because it's always good for tying it back into well-being and so on. I love things like that. So
yeah, I think we should focus on that as well, definitely for everybody here. So say try not to stick to one disability or something, but I say there's lots of people out there with low self-esteem and depression and various other things. I mean, I know there's people here today that have issues going on that, anybody wants to talk about anything, we can always make it more private as well with just members or something. I don't know how that works or anything yet, but where we can have if it ever gets big, if we get more than 5 people, that's big in my mind, but so that things are so we can keep things sort of private, or if anyone wants to talk about anything at all, anything, great. Yeah, definitely, Amy. I always want quick results.
Like seeing something develop. So I don't keep patience well with things. I do lots of bits of graphic design that I'm trying to build up on more, but I want to see things there and then. So it's sort of like when it's not looking how I want it to, I just get frustrated rather than thinking, okay, well, continue on. You might be able to actually still make it work. And yeah, it's having that patience.
I never finish anything, and I think that's self-esteem, because if I don't finish it, I can't mess it up. So it gets to a point where I'm really happy with it. So like one of my drawings, and I think, yeah, this is good. I like this, but then I won't finish it because I might ruin it, and I just don't have the confidence to.
I went stage where I was like starting stuff and then I'd scan things so that I had a backup. So if it went wrong, I'd just print it back out and I still had evidence that it wasn't rubbish at one point. But then I realized like that's not actually helping me, because I kind of just revert to that. It doesn't matter. It's okay now, because then you're not practicing. But I think when like I can't necessarily sit still enough to draw a picture anymore as detailed as I want, but
I can't. My hands don't let me hold the pencil. I didn't think I'd be able to do the diamond art because it's that same sort of finger, but there's not the pressure. It's very light, whereas where I'm drawing, I know it's supposed to be light, but I'm not. I'm drawing. Elian, I would really love to see that picture, whether it's finished or not. I think you need to show me. But yeah, no, drawing, painting, just can't. I can't concentrate on anything for long. I've even gone off watching TV now. I used to watch that a lot. Really into Korean dramas, thanks to my son, who got me into them, and then stopped watching them himself. But no, I love my Korean dramas, and I just watched last year. Oh God, I must have done 100 season series of different Korean dramas. But I can't even concentrate on that now.
I found more
I think I've got
that's going on. With the uncertainty going on again as well, I'm finding it more difficult to focus on things again, which isn't very. But yeah.
Just doesn't seem to be an end to it, does there? The minute you start to think everything's going to get back to normal, it isn't, and so I get it. You just lost the enthusiasm for it, because almost there was an end at some point, but now it's just ongoing and ongoing, isn't it?
I stopped watching TV.
Sorry, you can't stop watching?
I got to the point where I had to stop watching the news because I just could not take it anymore. It was on every day. It's back to that again. And there's got to be others. There's got to be something.
But they only report the same things over and over and over again, and it makes it even seem worse. Like, no, I can't. I try and sort of keep up with roughly what's going on, but that will only be scanning whatever Google sends my way whenever I go on to Google it. The highlights, news things, or other people tell me, and then I'll look it up, but I can't watch the news. They drive me too crazy.
Like that.
So I think this meeting's gone so well today.
Yeah, I've seen names that I recognise. I've got lots of names that are new to me, probably not to you. So,
yeah, I mean, I've no idea. I don't know how to use this at all, so I don't know. I can only see whoever's chatting here, and that's about it. I don't know. No idea how many people we've got watching or who's watching, but it's lovely to have everybody that's here. I thought I'd be on my own. But,
yeah. I wasn't going to let that happen.
No, I'm so pleased because I don't know. I just really, really wanted to do it, and I'm glad I did. Very glad I did. And I don't know whether we should stick to a Wednesday and keep it as every Wednesday at 8 it's this, or whether we should just do different days whenever we want to, or what. I don't know yet. I've still got to try and do some more videos. I'm trying to get videos out every Sunday, but honestly, I have these brilliant ideas. There's nobody to hold the camera for me. And then I get so exhausted. You like growing chilies in the summer. You do. Richard grows these chilies, and I'm not joking. His plants are like triffids, and the chilies that he gets off of them, they're just in their thousands. Your freezer must be full up. So what's that? The news. Yes. The news doesn't tell people what's going on. It tells people whatever they can profit from reporting on. That is so true.
This is the thing, petrol crisis. People wouldn't have started panic buying if that there was going to be a problem.
No, and if people didn't panic buy, there wouldn't have actually been the problem.
Is people were filling up with like £3 up accounts? Like, really?
Yeah. But
then there are so many good Samaritans I found as well. There's I don't know if you've used it, but there's like Nextdoor and there's something else in your area, and people who have to get petrol will go, hey, for any NHS staff or care, I've managed to fill up my tank, so if you need, to and can come and siphon it. Like, but I thought, it does give you that sort of, thank goodness we do know there's some good people still out there. It's not all totally gone now.
Yeah, I mean, you would see a lot of people that aren't, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if you heard the story about my flowers. Basically, I got really cross after a meeting that I went to last week, and I'm part of the carers group with Bromley Well, and I put in there, I'm just so fed up. I don't know what to do. Don't know where to go now. And this woman who I don't know, she sort of got in touch with me and said, look, I know it sounds weird maybe, but do you mind giving me your address? Because I've got something for you. And I thought, oh, perhaps she's got some information for me. Anyway, she turned up with these beautiful flowers and a bar of chocolate and a magazine for my son.
Oh.
And I just thought, I don't know who you are, but she just said, when I read that comment, I knew exactly how you felt, and I just wanted to cheer you up. And it really did. But
yeah, it just comes from nowhere. But
yeah, and it just, I don't know, it really made my week last week, just thinking, because I don't know, where I don't see that many people, and when I do, people are normally brushing past me and walking right in front of my wheelchair and just really irritating me. And then somebody just goes off and does that. I think it's just so lovely.
Yeah. Someone did the same for me, and my mum got flooded. I think I found the Fireman's Report 2012. And literally Christmas Eve, we were trying to like dry out the house so we could, have Christmas, because it was we got Christmas Eve was the night we got flooded, and video of us being out and stuff. It's nuts. But someone just had some flowers delivered, and my mum was just in bits. The fact that someone was so kind, and there's us. We can't have Christmas. So we had to, like, the flood had gone in the oven, and it was clean enough to actually be able to have a meal and stuff again. But you don't see enough of that in the world.
No, and it's just that small thing. I mean, she didn't do anything to help me, but that helped me more than anything, just by giving me that better outlook. Just like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one that's going through this. somebody cares. Somebody actually thought of me, and actually, yeah, I thought it was good. Right, we have come up to an hour. I don't know how long I'm allowed because I'm only free with this StreamYard. So I think we really ought to call it a day for today. But I think it's been, what's my favourite flowers? Oh, well, funny enough, my favourite flowers are roses and lilies. So, yeah, roses and lilies. But we're going to say goodbye for now. Amy, thank you so much for coming on. You've been a lifesaver, as always.
Anytime.
And we will definitely do this again soon. I don't know whether we've got a meeting tomorrow or not with the health and wellbeing.
They've sent out a new link today, so if you didn't get it,
I haven't got it.
Okay,
Well,
I'll see if I can send it to you in a text when I get off here. Then
I might have it, but I've been checking all day waiting for it, and I haven't had one.
No,
yet.
they sent it this morning, and
no.
I emailed. Queen started. She's fantastic at things, but for a little while there were teething issues as in, so I think it could just be being missed off lists and stuff when it's new member stuff and stuff. So I think I'll make sure I sort that out now.
Okay, yeah. Right, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Sorry, Richard, you'll have to come back next week. And Elian, you don't need to get me anything, sweetheart. And I'm going to get you a diamond art kit. So there you go. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to watch me. And I really hope to see you next time. Amy, thank you so much. And I'm going to come off this live stream now because I don't know if they're going to. I think I'm all right until they kick me off, but I don't want them to suddenly say you owe me money. So I'll see you all next time. Take care, everybody. Bye. Bye.